Hey guys, how's it going? You may be wondering where my co-host Ethan is at the moment, and the secret is he's actually deep in the jungles of Bosnia at the moment. So we're gonna have to start the video without him. So let's imagine this, right? You're walking through the parking lot, it's raining, you and your family are on your way to go watch the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. It's 2005. Life is pretty great. And as you go in, you see this movie poster for this creepy looking movie called Son of the Mask. I mean, look how terrifying that looks. Like a scary movie, man. Like, I'm 7, I don't know what I'm doing here. But that shows you the power of movie posters. This is your first signal of advertisement as to whether or not a movie is maybe good or maybe pretty darn bad.
Hey guys, back from Bosnia. Anyway, back in the way old days, like when movies were first invented, when the dinosaurs roamed the earth, people didn't have fancy stuff like the internet and IMDb. You couldn't look up, oh, what's it gonna be about? Who's in it? You didn't even know anything until you got to the theater and you saw the poster and you're like, I'm gonna see that one. Back in the old days, sometimes they didn't even care about the movie itself. This Laurel and Hardy pick, their names are even so much bigger than the title, I could barely even see what this is called. I need a magnifying glass. Any old port?
And it wasn't just this nameless Laurel and Hardy film that we're talking about here. I mean, you can see this through other films like Old Yeller, the original Frankenstein, Gone with the Wind, Singing in the Rain. The focus always seemed to be on the actors rather than the picture itself. And as a result, I mean, people still bought tickets to movies, but I mean, who cares? You also might notice with these movie posters that it's a full persuasive essay. I didn't know I had to read paragraphs before I bought a ticket to go see this film. Mother, can you lend me 3 pence so that I can purchase a ticket?
Basically what we're saying here is it started out pretty bland. There was no flair of modern advertising, to make everything all shiny and woohoo, Sometimes they'd literally just paint the actors on a white background. They wouldn't do the whole background. And then the future.
All of a sudden, movie posters started to become a lot more alive, a lot more personalized, thanks to the work of a lot of really creative poster artists. Things weren't so much about the actors now as it was trying to visually communicate what the film was actually about, and maybe even to get you to buy a ticket. I mean, you got stuff like the Muppets movie, the iconic Silence of the Lambs poster, Alien, The Thing. The list keeps going on, but these posters are leagues better than the older ones back when I was earning 3 pence from my mom.
Posters started to develop thematically and visually to reflect the mood of the movie so much better than they used to. You can look at a poster like Evil Dead and you know exactly what you're in for. Something like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas even. You see the distortion of reality even within the poster itself. It's giving you really good clues as to what you're in store for.
This, of course, led to the 3 crown jewels, aka like the best movie posters ever of all time, which are not only iconic for the films they represent, but are also just pretty great pieces of art in general. The Exorcist isn't some fancy painting some artist made, it's just a shot from the film, but it so effectively communicates the tone of the movie that basically I don't need to know anything else. All I know is that looks freaky and it looks that guy's in trouble for whatever's in that window.
Then you got stuff like this, Raiders of the Lost Ark, adventure, just distilled purely into an image. You know this movie's gonna be fun. He's got the whip up, everyone's smiling. It's just a blast.
And then what is probably the most famous and probably the best poster of all time is, of course, Spielberg's first feature film, Jaws, which is a poster that is so good. I don't even need to explain it to you why it's good. Just look at that's the best one. Come on. This is the best one, guys.
And then just when it got good, some bad started to happen.
What could it be?
Movie posters got crappy again.
All right, real quick, I'm going to go ahead and run some movie posters off to the left of me. Let's see if you can tell why these movie posters are bad. Let's roll them. Let's check them out. Okay. Oh, yeah. All right. Did you notice how they're all the same movie poster? For some reason, some corporate executive thought the best way to communicate a film's meaning is to just kind of clip art, shove all the characters onto a big, make them just all kind of pose and stare at the camera and the titles on the lower third of the screen, and that's it. Call it a day. We don't need to advertise any further.
No, I don't like to point fingers, but I think I know who started this trend. I think it was the MCU. Those guys, they just have to have every single person on the poster. They got so many characters and so many people. It's just that dun, 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 it was just in a row. It's boring. It's overdone. It's just become contrived at this point. Just stop it.
This all culminated in what is probably the worst poster of any of the MCU films, and maybe of all time, in the Spider-Man Far From Home official poster. Oh, my eyes hurt from just looking at it. Be honest with me, if you knew nothing about Spider-Man, if you didn't know who Tom Holland was, any of that stuff, would you really, really pay to see this film? The answer is no. No, you wouldn't.
Now, folks, I love John Hamm. Folks, I love John Hamm as much as the next guy. And this isn't a dip on John Hamm. Again, I love John Hamm. He's an amazing, beautiful human. But this poster, it's literally just John Hamm. Like, I know you know that everyone loves John Hamm, but you can't just put him on the poster and expect us all to just go see the movie. I mean, we will, but come on, be a little more creative.
All this poster stress has really got me freaked out. I think I need to put up the Furry Vengeance poster. Yeah, I think that helps. A personal favorite of mine is this poster, which I've never seen this movie. I have no desire to, but I just love that they didn't even try. It's just Ben Wyatt screaming off to the camera. Like, who was paid for that? Come on. Bohemian Rhapsody, a movie about the most enigmatic rock star of all time. It's just half of his face.
Now the poster's not good, but this is just a rip. They've never made a good Charlie's Angels movie. Just stop. Just stop trying. It's never going to happen. It's just not.
The epidemic of disappointing MCU posters is made even more frustrating when you see all of the cool alternate posters that they could have used and decided not to. And I'm not saying any of these posters are perfect. They're definitely better. And they're not Furry Vengeance. You can tell a lot more about the actual tone of the movie, and maybe it makes you actually want to buy a ticket for a reason outside of, well, it's Marvel, so I guess I kind of have to.
Look at this Rise of Skywalker poster. This is hard. This is like hard. This is cool. Like, this is way cooler than the actual movie itself. Do you understand? Like, this is like beyond the movie. This might be... It's like so good that it's bad because it misleads you.
It just goes to show that the focus of the film's advertising is more to just shove everything onto the screen, whether it makes sense or not, instead of making some beautiful personalized piece of art. You had all these great poster artists like John Alvin pumping out bangers for posters like Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, E.T., and these posters were beautiful, and they're some of the most iconic works from these respective companies.
Richard Amsel is like the king of slick movie posters. He's putting out classics like Indiana Jones, which I already talked about, The Dark Crystal starring David Bowie, and of course the penultimate Sting. I mean, just look at this. It's squeaky clean.
You had the boy Drew Struzan kicking us off with some Shawshank Redemption, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's or Sorcerer's Stone, Back to the Future. What movie is that? Oh yeah, Blade Runner.
You may ask yourself, why is this important? Why do these guys care so much? We care about movies, okay? We care about the art, and we want to see some care put into these things, not just slap it all on here and just put some for colors and just copy the Avengers poster. Do that. That'll be good.
After all, they say that life imitates art, or I guess in this case, advertisement of art imitates art. So as movies today become a lot more commercialized and focused on franchise, so too do the posters all look like you're just looking in an infinite loop of mirrors, everything just looking basically identical to each other. Except Furry Vengeance, that's still the best poster of all time. I think we've agreed on that by now.
Now, that's not to say that all posters from today are bad. There's actually some pretty good ones.
Logan defies every rule by being not only a film from 2017, but also a Marvel film, and yet it's a pretty great poster. I like it.
Donnie Darko. I mean, if this doesn't make you want to watch the movie just to figure out what's going on here, I don't know what would.
And again, a lot of the movies that have bad posters aren't necessarily bad movies, but like a lot of the modern films aren't as really special as ones that maybe came out years ago, so too are these posters. I mean, they're fine posters. I guess they do their job, but no one's going to remember them. Now, we did want to make a point to not call this video the death of movie posters, because that sounds too darn final. Instead, it's the fall of movie posters, because while they're not great now, they could come back. It could happen. Anyway, I think that the thesis of this video basically is that we need to put more emphasis on artists that draw really cool personalized posters. Stop putting weird clip art mashups and make them all look like the Avengers poster. And go watch Furry Vengeance, starring Brendan Fraser.
And The Mummy too.
And The Mummy, if you're feeling brave.
Sounds like they just need to stop corporatizing it. It sounds like they send it to a department, the poster department, just like they do the trailer department. But that's a whole nother video. Oh my god. Movie trailers.
Wait, what happens in Furry Vengeance?